American Idol 2025 Recap. Top 24 Part 2. American Idol 2025 Recap. We're live blogging the Top 24 Part 1 in Hawaii. American Idol Season 23 continues with the Top 24 round, which the show filmed at the Disney Aulani Resort in Hawaii. Part 1, featuring R&B singer Ashanti as a mentor, aired Sunday, April 13. Part 2, featuring Josh Groban, airs tonight, Monday, April 14. Artist in residence Jelly Roll will be on hand both nights to help. How to vote. Judges Lionel Richie, Carrie Underwood, and Luke Bryan won't be choosing contestants because which singers advance is now up to a Mireka. Viewers can cast their votes at idolvote.act.com, the American Idol official phone app, or via text message. Text the contestant's number to 21,523. Voting begins at the beginning of the broadcast. Fans can submit up to 10 votes for each contestant per voting method for a total of 30 votes for each contestant. Top 24 voting locks at 6 a.m. ET/3 a.m. PT the next morning. Mentor Josh Groban will perform later on in the episode. John Foster. Call in Baton Rouge by the Oak Ridge Boys / Garth Brooks. John is a huge Josh Groban fan. Who would have thunk? He picked an energetic song for a change-up. Josh and Jelly convinced John to sing without his guitar, at least through parts of the song. He brings the guitar on stage with him, but kinda ditches it on the chorus. He seems a little uncomfortable. John sings with a wonderful tone and sound, but hasn't developed a distinct musical personality yet. He's still a teen, though. Carrie calls it a great way to kick off the evening. Luke describes the performance as a Hawaiian hoedown. Lionel adds, "You're going to be the national hero. The song showcased your energy." Text 13 to 21,523. Desmond Roberts, "Do I Do?" by Stevie Wonder. Desmond had to quit his job as a music teacher to compete on American Idol. He and his family were willing to take the risk. Josh's advice is specific and technical. He's good. The show stuck Desmond at the beginning of the night, which isn't good for him. Meanwhile, he's a strong singer. Yeah, Stevie is done to death on these shows, but the band's arrangement and Desmond's confident delivery transform it into something new. He's a little pitchy at times, but the beatboxing and scatting are fun. Lionel says he'll call Stevie to suggest he check it up. "Your voice is just stellar," he says. Luke liked the arrangement and the way he gelled with the band. "Pro, great job." Carrie says, "You always bring the unexpected. You make it seem so easy. Not over the top." Text 14 to 21,523. Drew Wren. "I'm With You" by Avril Lavigne. Her auntie Kimmy loved Disney. Pluto dropped by to say hi. He was her late aunt's favorite. Josh suggests she stop thinking so much. Focus on the intimacy of the softer stuff. He's good. Josh gave Drew good advice. She can be wombed so tight, even when she hits those massive notes. She doesn't always seem effortless. Still, there is no denying her vocal talent. Carrie says, "You know what you're capable of. You know who you are. It was really great." Luke says, "It was total control from start to finish." Lionel says, "You were totally in control of that song. I love every minute of it." Drew admits she wanted to be Avril when she was growing up. Text 15 to 21,523. Canon James Hill, Glory to Glory to Glory" by Fred Hammond and Radical for Christ. Josh points out that Canon skipped head to head. Canon mentions that his allergies are killing him. He had to drop the key in rehearsal, but is determined to sing on stage in the higher key. Allergies make his voice even raspier, and that's not a bad thing. His high notes are not as clean, but it's not hurting his passionate performance. He brings the spirit. It's all good. Carrie loves his personality. She mentions the allergies and calls them a blessing because it forced him to simplify. Luke calls his voice dynamic. He says, "Your ability to have church on the beach is pretty amazing." Lionel says, "Your voice is your signature." He's looking forward to him seeing songs outside of the church. Text 16 to 21,523. Josh Groban sings his new song, Be Alright. He dedicates his performance to the contestants he mentored. He's sure their futures are bright. He's backed by an uplifting chorus. Josh calls the pairing with Jelly the odd couple. Currently, he's playing a Las Vegas residency called Gems. Felo. Who's Lovin' You? By Smokey Robinson and the Miracles / the Jackson 5. Jelly loves Felo's son. His mom is already crying during rehearsal. Finally, his mother is warming to Felo pursuing music. Jelly and Josh have no notes. Felo is a talented singer, but he does tend to overdo the runs. He slows it up even more than the original. The arrangement allows him to show off his soulful, raspy tone, but it also gives him space to add a bunch of runs. However, he manages to hold back somewhat until the end of the performance where he sounds strangled. A cry mom joins Felo on stage. Lionel says, "You're the only person I know that can hold a note and give us 3 different voices. Is that good?" Carrie says, "You have been one of my favorites. I feel I'm on your journey with you." Luke says, "Vote America Vote." Text 17 to 21,523. Kiana Fanny. I Am by Stan Walker. Maori version. Her father who walked out of her life is Polynesian. After she disdained that side of the family. But here in Hawaii, she finally met a bunch of them. Kiana has had little screen time so far, but every time she's seen, it's a reminder that she's a hidden gem on this. She's singing in another language for parts of the song. It's an ambitious choice, and she's nailing. I'd say she outsang a couple of the so-called front runners here. Lionel says, "You did a great job." Luke says, "You have this total vibe going on." Carrie says, "I had chills. It was like a shift in the air. It all worked together beautifully." Text 18 to 21,523. Olivier Bergeron. I Am Not Okay by Jelly Roll. Jelly calls Olivier a truck-driving everyman. He says, "It's hard to be a dreamer where I'm from." Jelly is crying again. Tissues. Josh calls Olivier brave. Olivier has cruised under the radar. That's partially because he's Canadian and doesn't have a voting fan base. International contestants have an uphill battle. Olivier is solid on the verses but wavers somewhat on the chorus. One last push at the end of the performance, and he ends pretty strong. Carrie says, "You have grown so much. Keep pushing. Get more of that confidence." Luke suggests he gets some angst and rage going. Lionel felt he blossomed about halfway through the song. "Don't hesitate," he says. Jelly declares, "I am a big fan. I am friends and family." He loves Olivier. Text 19 to 21,523. Grayson Torrance. Ceilings by Lizzie McAlpine. Her mom, who is in Hawaii, has struggled with poor health for years. Jelly encouraged her to convey more with her body language. "Open your eyes." She's going to focus on mom in the audience. She kept her eyes open. Kinda. It's hard to break habits in a few days. Her tone is pretty and sweet, but she needs to bring an or to the stage. She tends to hold back. Lionel says, "What comes with an artist is doubt. Trust. God put you in this place for one thing only." Carrie says, "You have this special ability to tell a story." Luke says, "You took a different route with an emotional song. It shows another level of your artistry." Text 20 to 21,523. Josh Cain. I'm Still Standing by Elton John. He admits struggling during Hollywood Week. Meeting Josh was a massive dream come true for Josh. The Joshes spend time joking around. Josh, the mentor, suggests he sing the words more distinctly. Josh is better performing on the piano. This might be the weakest performance of the night. This EJ classic is meant to be rousing, but it lays flat here until he hits a high note and plays harmonica. Then he comes alive. He's a musician first, a singer second. Luke says, "I'm excited for you. You just did a whole performance. Everything looks great." Carrie says, "I'm so proud of you." She feels Josh has come a long way. Lionel says, "You just lit up the audience. You are a showman." Text 21 to 21,523. Maddie P. Wide Awake by Katy Perry. At 15, she's the youngest contestant this season. Her song choice is different than anything she's chosen so far. Her mother surprises her during rehearsal. Mom auditioned for American Idol years ago while pregnant with Maddie. Katy Perry's songs can be hard to sing. They are suited for her stylized vocals. Maddie gives the song a generic, big voice treatment, and it doesn't quite work. It's not her best effort. Still, she can sing. Carrie says, "You're so good. I am honored to be along for the ride. You made it your own." Lionel says, "You have a growl in your voice that is so identifiable to you. The future is yours." Luke says, "Get in that rock star mode." Text 22 to 21,523. Thunderstorm Artist. Is This Love? By Bob Marley and the Wailers. Thunderstorm lives with his family in Nashville, but he grew up on Hawaii's North Shore. His song choice reminds him of home. Jelly suggests that Thunderstorm find his wife in the audience. As long as the band does not overpower him, Thunderstorm is reliably great. Stylistically, vocally, and musically, there is no other artist like him. His tone and phrasing is so simple and tasty. Lionel says, "You have something extremely unique. Your voice, and your guitar." Carrie says, "Everybody here was hanging on every single word." Luke says, "You really know what you're doing." Text 23 to 21,523. Amanda Berets. Defying Gravity by Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth. Amanda admits that Josh was one of her first crushes as a little girl. Oh, Josh heard her on Instagram. She chose the song because it embodies her time on the show, she feels. Getting looser is the key, Jelly says. The arrangement is a little funky.